If you wish to learn how to live, you must first learn how to die. No, this is not a morbid topic, nor a black magic ritual. It is the message brought by one of the most influential spiritual teachers of our times, Alan Watts. This deep and insightful teacher, who was born in London in 1915 and passed away in 1973, shaped the lives of millions with his unique approach to Eastern philosophies, mainly Zen Buddhism and Taoism. His legacy lives on through the many books he authored, lectures he gave, and interviews he did. One such interview has become famous for its striking and thought-provoking statement, "Die before you die." This simple yet profound statement cuts through the illusions that we humans often find ourselves trapped in. So, what does it truly mean to die before you die? Join us as we dive into the wisdom shared by Alan Watts in an interview where he talks about the process of dying and what it means to be fully alive. The illusion of the separate self, if there is anything that causes human suffering, it is the belief in a separate self. We think we are individuals completely independent from everything else around us. But this idea of an independent self is just an illusion. Imagine, for instance, that you are sitting by the shore watching the waves crash onto the beach. You might see a wave approaching and think to yourself, "Here comes a wave." And then, when the wave crashes, you think, "There goes a wave." But what really happens? There is no wave over here and then a wave over there. There is only the wave. The so-called individual waves are simply momentary expressions of the underlying ocean of waves. Alan Watts uses this example to illustrate a larger truth. Just like the wave, we are not separate from the world around us. We are not individual islands of I floating in an undifferentiated sea of you. Rather, we are aspects of the same underlying reality. When we realize this, we also realize that the concept of a separate self is an illusion. If you try to grab the foam of the wave, thinking it is real, it will slip through your fingers. Similarly, if we cling too tightly to the idea of a separate self, we will only find ourselves grasping at an illusion. So, how do we free ourselves from this illusion? According to Watts, it starts with dying before we die, dying to the illusion of the separate self. In an interview, Watts was asked the question, "Can you explain what you mean by saying that we should die before we die?" In his response, Watts offered a simple yet powerful answer. It means we should die to our attachment to life, which means we have to die to our attachment to the idea of the self as separate from everything else. We have to die to the idea that we own something and that something belongs to us. He further explained that we tend to get upset when we don't get what we want or when we lose something that we value. But the truth is, nothing really belongs to us. Everything is impermanent. Nothing is permanent. Not our relationships, not our possessions, not even our lives. When we understand this, we can let go of our attachments and our fear of loss. Then we are truly free, the illusion of time. Another illusion that we often fall prey to is the illusion of time. We think that there is a past, a present, and a future. But what is the basis for this division? Watts pointed out that our ideas of the past and the future are simply projections of our imagination. He said, "There is no such thing as time as a fourth dimension. Time is simply the third dimension of our experience moving in a straight line." Think back to your childhood. How much of it can you actually remember? Your earliest memories may come from when you were 2, 3, or 4 years old. But what happened between the ages of 0 and 2? Did those moments just disappear? Or did they somehow become part of you without being remembered? The answer, according to Watts, is that we are always in the present moment. The past is gone, and the future hasn't happened yet. So the only time that really exists is now. However, because our minds love to categorize and label things, we end up creating stories in our heads about the past and the future. These stories make us believe that there is a past and a future, but they are nothing but figments of our imagination. So if we truly want to live life to the fullest, we need to wake up to the fact that there is only now. The idea of the past and the future are nothing but mental constructs. Once we realize this, we can stop wasting our precious time worrying about things that have already happened or things that may happen in the future. Instead, we can focus on the present moment and appreciate it for what it is. Awakening to the now. So how do we actually awaken to the now? Watts suggested that we start by embracing change. He said, "The only way to deal with an unfree world is to become so free ourselves that our presence in the world is that of freedom. The only way to deal with an unfree world is to become so free ourselves that our very presence in the world is a declaration of freedom. We must learn to surrender to the natural flow of life. Resisting change and trying to hold on to things that are beyond our control only leads to suffering. When we accept the impermanence of all things, we open ourselves up to the possibility of new experiences, new relationships, and new opportunities. We become more adaptable and resilient in the face of challenges and setbacks. But what about the fear of losing control? Isn't that what makes us resist change in the first place? Well, Watts had a simple yet powerful answer to that as well. He said, "The most beautiful thing about a voluntary act is that it is done without any expectation of anything in return. If you do something expecting something in return, you are really buying conduct, not performing it voluntarily. When we perform actions expecting something in return, we are essentially trying to control the outcome. We want things to happen the way we want them to happen. But the truth is that we cannot control anything. All we can control is our thoughts, our beliefs, and our actions. So instead of worrying about the outcome, we should focus on doing the right thing for the sake of doing it. When we let go of our need for control and our fear of losing control, we become more free to experience the full range of what life has to offer." In conclusion, the message that Alan Watts shared with us is a message of freedom. Freedom from the illusion of the separate self, freedom from the illusion of time, and freedom from the fear of losing control. When we die before we die, when we let go of our attachments and our need for control, we awaken to the timeless present moment, the now. And it is in this moment that life is truly lived. So my question to you is, are you ready to die before you die? Are you ready to let go of the illusion of the separate self, the illusion of time, and the fear of losing control? If your answer is yes, then I invite you to take the first step towards freedom. Embrace change, surrender to the flow of life, and let go of your need for control. Trust that everything will work itself out for the best, not because you have faith in some higher power, but simply because you recognize that you are a part of that higher power. You are a part of the same underlying reality from which all things arise and to which all things return. You are a part of the universe, and the universe is a part of you. Thank you for joining me on this journey of self-discovery and spiritual growth. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and share it with your friends. If you haven't already, subscribe and join our growing community of seekers and truth-tellers. Together, we can continue to explore the wisdom of Alan Watts and other spiritual teachers who have walked the path before us. As always, I wish you peace and joy on your journey. May you find solace in the arms of the divine, strength in the face of adversity, and unwavering faith in the power of your own being. Until next time, walk good.